What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the lounge. I'm your host, Jukebox, and next to me is my co-host, Brofiki. Brofiki, man, how you doing today?
I'm well. I'm ready for this. I'm excited. I've been following Trapt since I was just a wee lad. So I'm here, ready to go. And another episode. Let's do this. It's been a minute.
Excited for this. Hey, Chris, man, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Good to be
here.
How's
life going right now? I know you guys got some big news coming up. Got music and tours.
Yeah, man. We just been working on new music and getting it out there too. Just dropping a song a month or every month and a half, something like that. And so we got a bunch of songs coming and an album we're going to be dropping. So and that'll be we're calling the album The Fall, and like not the fall, the season, but like the fall of mankind kind of thing. That's dropping the end of the year, and then we have a bunch of songs coming. We were out the year and a tour that we're calling The Fall Tour. It's August, November, and January, and then next summer we'll be putting together some kind of package tour with a bunch of other bands.
That's fantastic, man. It's good. It's good that you're still around, man. And I just want to pop this up here real quick. That number has jumped almost 20K just today.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just we don't need at this point. Like they have something called algorithmic play. So there's 40 million music fans, right? And so like The Weeknd has like 40 million listeners or something. I think he has like 100 million. So something ridiculous numbers like that. Whereas the most people listen to Spotify and they just kind of listen to the passive radio, like whatever. It's like the Pandora part of it. Right. And then the part that costs them a lot of money is the people who are like the real big music fans are only like 10% of the whole market. And they listen to a ton of stuff. So like 8% listen to 70% of your streams, or something like that. It's like something crazy like that. So, it's like I used social media to get reach, Yeah. And that worked real well for a few years. And then until they started banning me, for stupid stuff. Really,
yeah. We'll touch base on that in a little bit.
Like Kanye, the stuff he said was way more ridiculous and offensive. He didn't get banned from anything. So, or like Andrew Tate. I mean, he said stuff that's way more offensive than anything I've ever said. And it's just funny how they could shadow ban or bury anyone they want to.
Right. Yeah.
So certain people, and it's it's literally just when you get in the way of any kind of thing that's related to Jan 6 and anything in any way, like Proud Boy stuff, and also like the Ukraine war thing, like those two things, and the vaccine stuff. So those three things. Sorry, anything that has to do with those three things, or any groups, that's when you get in trouble. So anything else you can say, you can talk about anything else. Just those three topics. You can't
no go. Can't do it.
Yeah. Right. Anything else? Aliens, flat Earth, doesn't matter.
Flat Earth.
There's like alien people. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's fine. But those three things.
I mean, you can play WAP on public radio, and it's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It really just comes down to money and power.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with that.
But those are the three things that I would talk about, because they're the three things that are the most pressing.
It's trending as well.
I'm just the kind of guy, I like to find out how far I can push the envelope across the table until they put me in jail or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I won't want to find out that far, but like we're getting close, and then you go, okay, all right, I'll back off. I get it.
I know where my limitations are.
Exactly. Right. I like to know if I'm an artist, right? I need to know what boundaries I can push. Well, and a lot of the new songs are about what the last 3 years. So and you have a relationship going through it, and a lot of times you go and you throw your hat in the ring of the public speaking arena, and that's what we're doing. If you guys are doing that, anybody talking stuff like that, you invite vitriol. I don't care who you are, if you're talking about stuff, They're gonna invite that. So anyone that's part of your family or girl, or whatever, they kind of have to go through it too,
Yeah.
So it was like, stand up, fight for stuff you believe in, knowing there will be consequences. So I figured I didn't think they were gonna start banning me for these things.
Right.
Stupid. Oh, just ban them. I don't want to hear them. It's like, really?
Well, and I met Rafiki over here on TikTok, and he was going through some shit when I actually met him. I'll let him talk about that a little bit, but
yeah, I can relate, man. Like, it doesn't matter if you're into, music, movies, whatever it is, you can have just some sort of allegation against you, or like someone say something like, oh, okay, because I normally wear dreads in my hair, and so I got a lot of kickback for cultural appropriation.
I can't believe that would happen to you. If I had dreads and people were like, oh, you can't be a rock singer and have dreads, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, dude.
well, and that was kind of my take on it too.
Yeah. But I swear, I would be like, no, we're not going to even entertain that. Shut up. Like in 2015, I would just go hashtag white privilege does not exist.
Yeah.
It was relatively early enough in that whole, thing.
Right.
And so I just, I knew, it would trigger some people. This was before anyone really cared.
Yeah.
2015, no one cared. So you could say stuff about that, and there wasn't groups of people that were going to attack you. It was just funny, and you rile up some liberals, because I was a Republican and stuff. And now I'm like just independent, because both sides are just crazy to me.
Yeah.
At this point, but yeah, it's like the last 3 years, it was like, you stand up for your beliefs, you get a lot of hate for it. You go through stuff with your girl and your family and this and that, but then you come out of it with more fans than you had before, a lot more fans, millions, or like 1.5 million more, maybe. I don't know, but and then now in a place where I can write songs about it, and the songs are they make sense, like Ignorance is Bliss or Bulletproof, like Bulletproof, that's coming the end of August, just kind of like looking back on what I kind of did mentally to get through this kind of stuff, or to even try to fight those battles and whatever. And I only did so to be like, yeah, let's see where the line is, and I found it. So
yeah, and it's funny because my sense of humor is kind of backslap comedy. Like, I'll like watch a clip and I'll say something completely off the wall back to it just to get a reaction out of people, and similar. And it actually helps. Like, it fuels the flame as far as views and traction. It seems like the stuff that gets more views is stuff that people have an opinion on.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong.
It's just funny because it's like, you're wearing dreads and then you get hate at you, and then like Kanye saying like the worst thing ever, and it's just everyone just laughs. I was like, haha, that's funny. It's like, and anybody who's like mad at him is like, oh, like, it's like, you're not even that mad. Like, tomorrow you're gonna forget about this, but they're gonna be just as mad about your dreads that the next day, and it's
it was a very interesting thing. Yeah, because I work in the music industry in a lot of different aspects with photography, or just helping musicians just get their footing online, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I did the whole military thing, so I had to shave my face every day, no tattoos, to like now I'm, my hands are tattooed. You normally have colorful
you can
dreads.
Express yourself the way you want.
Yeah, and so some people are like, this is really cool. You're expressing yourself in one way or another. I chose a physical appearance because I had to fit in with, the rest of the U.S. government, and, everyone has to look the same, act the same, whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. No, I'm gonna go and express myself the way that I feel, safe, secure, my own body, my own skin.
You can be an individual, and you don't have to be part of a group anymore.
Yeah, people are always like, what do you do for a living? Are you a tattoo artist? I'm like, no. I take pictures and I go to a lot of concerts. Like,
right on.
Like, who cares, man? Like,
but it's just crazy that they'll pick up on anything, and that, like, the first thing, that they're like, oh, he's a Trump supporter, so he's a racist. So like one of the first things I said, I put on my American flag shirt, and I did a TikTok. It was 2 years ago, and I was like, hey, not racist. You know, like my mother came here, my brother's mother, you know, my grandmother came here in the 50s from Mexico because her father worked in the fields, and she got citizenship over the, you know, after a number of decades, and you know, the American dream. You know, that's like half where I come from. You know, the other half came in like the 1600s. Yeah, and so you know, it's like it sucks that because like, oh, I have a tour bus, so it'd be nice to like not have to pay like $8 per diesel gallon, which is what a lot of
ridiculous.
the non-Trump people don't care if that happens. You know, so they can't even understand like why. Well, I want to have cheaper gas prices. There's probably some other people who agree with me on that. Why does that make me a racist person? And it's like they don't have an answer for it. And yeah, I said like white privilege exists in 2015, and I've said, hey, to say there's no improvement since the civil rights era is ridiculous. You know, since 1965, but we've come a long way as a country and how we treat people, and that's great. That's good, and that's what the protesting of Martin Luther King Jr. and all those people. That's what that resulted in, like a better population that treats people better. And so you can't just rehash that shit like 60 years later and say, oh no, it's worse than it ever was. It's like, no, it's not.
You weren't in that phase really, you know.
Well, and interesting. Think about how many cameras there are this day. Everybody catches everything on camera. This same shit was happening before the cameras were there. It's just not.
That's probably why the cameras are here now.
I don't think anybody was like, they're trying to say there's cultural misappropriation, and as if like that is what's keeping races down. Like that somebody can use different aspects of a culture, and then that's like that culture is now down because like people, like if anything, that's like promoting that culture, you know. So, braids is not something that one culture can say we own that. Like that's ridiculous. Like the people have been braiding their hair for like thousands of years. So all different types of races and colors have done that. So that is the stupidest thing.
It mostly was a history lesson.
The more stupid you think it is, the more people come, and you're like, they are like so animated about this stupid thing.
Have you heard of Westboro Baptist Church?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
They literally, I live right by an amphitheater, and
isn't
they will show up
protest the
abortion, gays,
you're
literally everything. They will show up at stuff that means nothing to do with what they're trying to protest. They just show up for the hell of it, and they rant and they bitch and they complain. You know, it's annoing.
Do they have TikTok accounts?
I wouldn't be surprised. They always promote their stuff accounts?
On it. Westboro Baptist soccer accounts. They troll.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hey, I do want to jump back though, because I mean, we'll touch back on this again, but I want to talk about your career because you started young, man. You were born in what, 81?
Yeah.
And you started music in 95, which would put you at 14. 15?
Yeah, I mean, the band officially was named. You know, we started writing the first few songs, and the band was named the summer of '97. So that we were. That was the between sophomore and junior year of high school. So junior year and senior year, we were active as a band, and then 2 years like after high school ended, we were signed. We made our record, you know.
And was that right off the bat with Warner Studios?
Yeah, I mean, basically, that was the first real record we made. We made like little demos, you know, and like a 9-song record that, you know, is like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, you know. But yeah, the first real stuff was like 21. We were 20. Like I turned 21 when we were recording that first record. In Vancouver, Canada. Yeah.
And you guys, were you part of the cover band that was initial before Trapt?
No, our bass player was in a band called Nothing Substantial as a punk band, and they would do, you know, they were the ones who would do like no effects. We never did cover songs, really. No, when we did, we never as Trapt. We did, it was always original songs. Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I you know, like I said, I tried to do some research. That's good, man. That's pretty neat. That's
I mean,
and how did you get into something like Warner Studios though? Because that's a big label to just get.
Yeah, we had a number of labels that wanted to sign us from our demo EPs or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up, going with Warner Brothers because they had the best radio team.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is like, do you like flip a coin? Draw straws.
Yeah, and
like,
it's not
when you're
Warner
that
Brothers
young.
studio. It's just that there's A&R guys who work for the label, and then they try to find like the right producer to work with. So they found Garth, and he did Rage Against the Machine's first album and Mudvayne's first album. He had just done Mudvayne's first album, which is amazing. So we were stoked on. And he had just finished Chevelle's album that had the red on it. Right before we went, he worked with us. So it was like he did that record and then our record back to back. So yeah,
that's got to be a hell of an experience, especially in high school.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were 2 years out of high school by that point.
Yeah, so right out of high school, you said 2021.
Yeah,
that first record in
2000, early 2001, we started recording that record, and early 2002, we started recording that record, and we did our last showcase. We did a showcase the week before 9/11, and then 9/11 hit, and we were supposed to do a showcase that day, and the A&R guys were like, we were talking about doing it or not. Like, yeah, let's just do it. It's America. Good. Screw those people. Screw those terrorists. It sucks, but we'll get them back. Which we did, obviously.
Right.
And then some.
I'd say. I think
that's a whole other story we don't even need to talk about. But that was a crazy day because it was like we got signed. We got the dream of like getting that opportunity was finalized. And then because the original A&R guys hadn't seen us play, they wanted to see us live. The one guy saw us at our local club, but the other A&R guy had never seen it, so he wanted to see us. And so, like as soon as he found out his wife was okay, she was like in New York or whatever, something.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, let's do it. Whatever. We can. If I'm here, I'm here. Let's do it. So, but yeah, it was a bittersweet day. But that was September 11th, 2001. And then
I was in 7th grade.
Crazy, yeah. And then and then 3 months later, we went to record the record in Vancouver, and then 3 months after that, I turned 21. Yeah,
that's killer, man.
Yeah. Was it just like hit the ground running, like you touring with these guys?
I was It's so funny because I in our yearbook for high school, I was voted most likely to sell 1 million records.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, like a high school band too, like.
Yeah, it's funny though.
The same guys,
like all those other people in my class, like that was I think that was like somebody made it a category because obviously we were a band.
Right.
There was a band called Dredge. There's a couple years ahead of us that did really well.
I like Dredge. Yeah.
And they went to our high school too. And
oh no shit.
So it was like, we had the Cactus Club in San Jose that was really awesome, and Papa Roach would play there all the time, and Spike 1000 and Insolence and all. It was just a really cool scene up there. Like the Rage Against the Machine rap rock thing was huge.
Yeah.
Like 95-6, and that's what we saw. And then by 97 we made a band, and then we were we opened up for like Papa Roach and Snot and it's just cool, man, to rise up for that. And then it was just like a train that was just going, like we just kept writing better songs, and then we made the demos, and then went through the different labels and all that crazy stuff, and it's just like kind of always figured that was if that was gonna happen, so I had like a feeling.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'll take you back before this, if you don't mind. So in high school, did you always have a goal to play or be in a band? Like, were you at someone's house and like, hey, they have a drum set or a guitar? Like, how did that happen?
My buddy, since like 3rd grade, he started playing drums. So, and then Pete, our bass player, I've known him since 3rd grade, and he started playing bass, and then they started a band with this other guitar player guy. And then so I was like, I better start learning guitar, So that was, we were 12 years old, And then by 13, I was pretty good. And then 14, 15, I was getting better and better. And then, by 16, I was able to write songs and you teach it to the other guitar player we had. And we went from there. Yeah.
That's awesome, especially the fact that like you guys grew up together.
Yeah, it was a garage band basically.
Did you do like high school like competitions too?
Yeah, we did all those like talent shows.
Yeah,
you'd do an act and stuff. Yeah, and by the senior year, we were doing our own songs. So that was cool.
Right on, man.
I can relate to that so much. That's how this all started for me, man. So, I mean, I was in high school. So 2003. So right after that would make sense with your album release. Yep. I was learning how to drive, and my friends did the same thing. We all worked at a restaurant together. One person played the drums, one person played the guitar, and I'm like, I'm in choir. I can sing, and I love music.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. We would just go play at this like local coffee shop that this guy would like invite everyone to come down and play in, and so we were just a cover band for a little bit. In fact, Rage Against the Machines, that was the first song that we did.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I saw them at the Tibetan Freedom concert, like Best Beastie Boys, and it was crazy, man. I was like up in the pit, and you turned like every direction, and you couldn't see land. It was just heads, and also like if the crowd was starting to go this way, you had to go with it.
You'd sway too.
Yeah,
go that
power
way.
Of the crowd.
Like you couldn't stop it. Like the whole, it was absolutely crazy. And
that vibe.
I remember. I just vaguely remember, the music. It was more like, wow, what is going on, and yeah, it was awesome. It was like one of the coolest concerts because it was just so larger than life,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What was your first concert?
Yeah, what was your first concert? That's
gonna be my dad took me to Grateful Dead.
Yeah. Right on.
I think I was 12. Yeah, like right around when I started learning to pick up the guitar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think my very first one was Slipknot, Trivium, and Coheed. And actually, Trivium put on a better show than the other two.
Really?
Right on. Very cool. Yeah.
And then I saw Van Halen right after that.
Yeah, all right on. What did they have? Sammy?
Or no, it was David. It was David Lee Roth was up there. Yeah, man, he was.
That's my favorite version of Van Halen with Roth.
It was good, man. It was a good experience. So you got your first album release, and when did you start making your first? When did you do your first music video?
Headstrong music video. We did that. We made that.
Probably been like 02 or 01.
Yeah, we made that
record.
We didn't make that till like March of 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, not till it got like top 20. We made a little live video of us playing at the Roxy,
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even that back in it cost like $8,000 or $10,000 or something stupid.
Yeah.
Some guy filming it at the show.
Yeah.
And and then that was probably October, November 2002, and then or maybe even later right around when we dropped the record probably. And we didn't record we didn't do a video until the song was heating up the charts.
Mm-hmm. And how many times did you have to play it? Because I've been at shows where they were shooting music videos and they played the songs like 5 or 6 times in a row, and you just see the band just like sweating their ass off, just like
I mean that was probably like an 8-hour thing.
Whoa,
but some I mean these days we try to do 2 videos in 2 days, if you can.
Yeah,
this helps. You can it's just cheaper to do the 2 of them if you
pair them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these days it's all about the visual, because I mean musically, if whatever's in your head, it's so easy to get amazing guitar tones and drum tones and I mean vocals. It's always easy to record yourself that way or acoustic guitar. But as far as either record the drums in a studio with mic'd up, everything's mic'd up, and then the guitars, same thing. Everyone's the speakers are mic'd up and everything's loud and all that stuff. Or there's simulations that it sounds exactly as if you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's if I could tell the difference, I would do it the old way. But now there's new things I bought that just came around like probably last year are just so awesome. It's like you have so many options now. It's like to make things sound like
we've had
in such a shorter time.
Yeah, we've had artists on that literally are one-man bands, and they just hire people on to tour with them because they can do everything themselves now. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. They love it. It's just like, you know, mixes and mastering and all that is like, it's just like some AI program's gonna pull it out. You know, like just put your mix in there, it's gonna clean it up, pop it out, and you're like, whoa, it's crazy. I don't know if we're there yet, but you know,
what's your opinion on the whole AI thing? Do you think it's cheating, or do you think that there's actually talent? And
I think that it'll help talented people stand out more, and I think a lot of mediocre stuff that doesn't have to be great will be made by it too. But anything that elicits like a real emotional response is not going to be made by AI, because anything that you've seen already, it doesn't do anything for you because you've already seen it. You know,
right?
You know, you've already heard it or whatever. So AI is only going to make derivative stuff, so it's not going to be anything exciting.
I literally just had this conversation.
A human being will have to use it, and you know, and it doesn't. I mean, it's like a product manager. You know, like you need to make a product with somebody who's designing it with you or whatever, and you're in charge of that. So you got to hire all the people that would make it happen. You know,
right?
And so that's. I mean, it's like you're still the human beings. You know, that the last guy still has to make that choice. You know, is this good or not? You know, are the people going to connect with this or not? Like AI is not going to know. You know, AI and things that are derivative and boring, or you know, just derivative and generic, rarely do well. You know, and you know, even though sitcoms seem to be very generic, you know, like it's almost like a formula that has to be. But music at least has to have like some kind of different thing to it. Mm-hmm. For it to be a real hit, you know, like obviously it'll sound like something, but there's something that song has that's different. Even though people are like, oh, you know, it's derivative pop or it's derivative this or that. It's like it doesn't become special unless it has some kind of unique thing to it, you know. Yes. And that the AI is not going to be able to, in my opinion, like
capture that.
Be able to figure out what that's going to be. It's not going to be able to put its finger on the pulse like a human being can, as far as intuition goes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll make great jokes. I don't think it'll make great lyrics.
Right.
Or I mean, the painting stuff is just it's just like it's a very AI style thing. I mean, you can't use AI for, you know, very like realistic stuff yet. You know.
Yeah.
Artsy stuff, you know, album artwork stuff. It's great, you know.
Yeah,
I've already used it. You know, I already made our album cover of the fall, just like a guy falling. Like, you know, I had this idea of like, you know, businessmen falling out of the sky chasing dollars. You know.
Yeah.
And so I just typed that in, you know, and I got all these different iterations of it. I go, oh, that's cool. And I just kept going and going, and then for some reason it showed me this cool like flower type background, and this like looked like a what are those guys who do the bowls, you know, and they have the red carpet? What are those guys called? You know, and then the bull comes, and then they.
I know who you're what you're talking about.
The matadors. The matadors.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This totally blanked on what my point was on the matter.
I'll agree with you on that. I literally was at a show with a couple really well-known DJs and producers over the weekend, and this is literally the conversation we had
about the artwork. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead, Fish.
But I just do the artwork. So it looks like this matador that's falling out of the sky in this like really poetic he like stance or something, like falling, and like it's got this like the AI doesn't make real faces, you know.
Yeah,
but it's so eerie looking and colorful and cool, and I was like, wow, that's awesome, you know. And it's like I didn't make it, but you know, I decided that was something that I think people would feel something for, you know, because I did.
But like you said, at the end of the day, you make the final decision.
I think an artist is somebody who just tries to express something, and it's really just it's kind of expressing an opinion, you know. and it's just like an entertaining thing, but it's still an opinion of what's entertaining, because most people aren't successful with it, like for some reason, nobody can put their finger on what makes something special or not, and that's what's cool about it. It's probably why it's special, so that's cool. That magic, I don't know, I don't think that AI is going to be able to just pop out great stuff, and I think most of it's going to be real stupid and going to get made fun of, and the AI's already done. I don't know if it was AI that made the song, but there's like this AI rapper guy and like on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it, but it was the most ridiculous.
But I'm going to now.
Yeah,
you got just look up like TikTok AI rapper, Bugatti or so, stuff. It's like AI. Like you see his face, like it's obviously looks like AI. It's not like a real person, like a real rapper. And it's just some of the lyrics. It was just so. It's like a team of white dudes, like deciding what a black rapper would say and how he would act and all stuff. So, that's why I say it's ridiculous. But you'll see it when you watch.
Okay.
It. I mean, you
I'll check it out.
There's maybe more than one now, But I just it's like these labels are chomping at the bit to just make fake stars, so they don't have to deal with someone like me, praying or getting their asses kicked and all that stuff, which is so sad, and all that, which is all war is sad. So as an artist, you think everyone's gonna be like anti-war, and especially certain wars, that we haven't. Whatever, we don't have to get into any of that, but it's just, it's weird that I just wish we could live in a country where you could just express yourself,
right?
Whether it be with dress or with your words, or what your actions, as long as they're legal, but it's definitely words. I mean, come on,
right?
It's like words are violence and all that. That's just stupid, So.
Right. Looks like we lost him real quick, but that's all right. He'll come back. It's Wi-Fi. You're good. You're good. He just, I think he froze off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all good. He'll come right back.
Oh, I'm still on. Cool.
Yeah, we're still going, man. You're good.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately, Wi-Fi does that.
So how long have you been on TikTok? Have you been on TikTok?
I've been on TikTok since I started podcasting. I actually hate social media. I'm going to be honest. Unfortunately, it's kind of a way to get your name out there anymore. And I get
about it, man. It really helped Trapt and just people are like, oh, you ruined your career. It's like that's just not true in any way, dude. Like it's like the revenue of streaming revenue is up, and the streams are up. It's all up. It's like we definitely touring. We have to do a lot more work ourselves. Right. But as far as just because of the people that will not work with somebody with certain political views, and they tend to own parts of the industry, So, but you just work
the way the world is, man. I mean, the people with the money control everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd rather just be free and to express myself than to be under the thumb of any entity, So
I can say a lot of your music expresses. I mean, you hear it in the vocals that you're expressing yourself, and people hear it and they don't say anything. Yeah, they enjoy it.
Musically, no one has any issues with any lyrics that I've ever done. I mean, it's just using the platforms that I've made musically. 600,000 on Facebook I got to, and 300,000 on TikTok. Probably half of that was talking about stuff that.
Yes,
it's funny that like that woman Halsey, who's an artist, pop artist.
Yeah, yep.
She was complaining that she's gotta like wait until like some kind of like event happens, like or she's gotta have some kind of thing happen to put our single out, and then the week later she's talking about abortion and like that she had an abortion or something, even though it was just like it was a miscarriage, and then they're like, do you want us to deal with that? And then she's like, okay, yeah. And then she said, oh, I'm just like everyone else who's had an abortion. That's not true, and then her single went come out, so it's like these artists can like talk about those stuff freely, whatever their opinion is of anything, and the label uses it to market the artist because it's like they're allowed to say that.
It's because it fuels the fire, man. But if you say certain things, it's not okay. Right.
Yeah, it's just there's certain forces, powers that have agenda, and if you get in the way of that, then they're gonna come after you. So I didn't know that. I mean, 2018 that wasn't the case. 2017, 2016, like I would
But
talk
you've,
about.
I mean,
I
you've
was
always,
for
you've
since
always spoke your mind
2014.
throughout.
I've been talking about stuff. I'll post about this or that, or like I said, Twitter. The white privilege, stupid stuff. You know, um, so I've been talking about stuff that I want to talk about. Just
Now,
express myself.
would you say, and I'm not saying that any of this is wrong. I actually think that everybody should be able to allow to voice themselves. But would you say that has affected you reaching your fans at all? Like, has it affected like your numbers at
The
all?
social media the social media companies ban you when you've built all these people, and then they shadow ban you when you get back on, and they have you on like monitored mode. So but I mean, it's like I got away with it for a couple years, and it helped the band a lot. And so at this point, I mean, at least they're letting me advertise. They're definitely not like letting me have the reach I had before.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know.
I definitely like I see it in the stuff that you post now. It's like you get the views and it like hits a number and then it just kind of is there, right?
Yeah. It's like there's no actual like algorithm used on it. It's like it just hits the first couple hundred, and then from there it's just people coming back to see what I posted. So just like
Right.
and they don't even show anyone who's followed. So if you get like 5,000 likes in like a few days, like none of those people see anything that I post,
Yep.
unless they come back. So I don't know. It's just like they definitely don't treat every account the same. Equally.
Right.
So.
Hey, Jesse, you were saying something before you cut out about your experience with AI or conversation about AI.
So just cross genre stuff. What you were saying, kind of about art and things like that. They use visual effects in their showcase, so like EDM artists, dubstep artists, things like that, in that genre of music. So they've been able to benefit from the use of AI in that regard. But a lot of these guys, they do mix songs together. But like you mentioned, you can't capture emotion. You need a human experience, right? In my opinion, just being around art my whole life, honestly, like trauma of any kind creates a creator, somebody that has an expressive mind. They need to let some sort of pain or happiness out, because trauma is positive and negative, right? And you can't create lyrics that way. I mean, even just like re-listening to your song, Headstrong from years ago, right? That still has weight today because so many people can relate to it. Yeah. So it's about creating something that could help somebody else feel or elicit emotion. And you can't get that from something that's generated from a computer. So I don't think that it's going to take over anything. It's only going to benefit those that are already creating something on their own. Like you mentioned,
even when you have like 5 different songwriters that are writing the lyrics, the five of them can feel that the song is going somewhere that is special. They can feel it. Their intuition can feel it, and an AI is not going to ever get close to that kind of intuition. Like, and it's not even going to know why they do. There's not going to be a point to do it. Like, there's no point to have the intuition. There's no. It's like, as far as like taking over the world and having those kind of feelings, like it's not going to do that. If it does that, it's been programmed to do that. It's been programmed to think we must do this to the humans. So it's nothing that, like, there's no point. There's no anger. There's no revengefulness. There's nothing that in a computer. It just does what it's told. And
I just think of it. Yeah, if it's going to save you guys money, that's all I really care about. Like, if you can make your own album art and not have to pay thousands of dollars to that, or like you guys can do your own music videos, like you're mentioning,
the music video thing,
music video, like
you got to do it. You're like, that's the last bastion where you can't. Like, I tried to do like green screen stuff and like try to superimpose yourself into like a 3D thing. It just does not look good. No one's pulling it off yet. So you got to find a cool location. You got to pay for it, and then you got to get a good, videographer guy and the editor, and you got to just do that the old school way. Like, there's no way to make something look like a real like a real people and a real environment unless you shoot it in a real environment with real people, you know.
Right.
But music, yeah, I mean, guitar, I'm sure, you know, if make a riff that sounds like Van Halen, they will, yeah, they'll do it.
Mhm.
Right.
It'll be slightly different, but it won't be like, oh, this is the best Van Halen song. Yeah, it won't be. And all the stuff that they're making they're making new Beatles songs and this and that. It just doesn't have any stead. It's just like, no. It's like an old song that just goes in one ear out the other. Yeah.
So going from your musical career to where it's at now, and the progression or degression of the music industry, however you want. I mean, obviously it's going up because there's social media and it's easy to get out there. But making a music video, like what's the craziest like music video you made, like that has like ridiculous memories that you've made out of it because something happened behind scenes, or you know, something messed up or something funny happened?
I don't know. I mean, Echo was probably the most involved. It was I don't know if we did a few, like 2 or 3 days on that one, and we had a mansion, and we hired an actress who's like was doing pretty good at the time, and I don't know if she's doing now, but whatever. That was like the most involved video, and we spent way too much money on it, like more money than we spent on the record. That's stupid. You look back on it, like we had to pay all that back too. I mean, you know, it's like, we finally paid everything back by like 2012 or so 13, you know. But it would have been sooner had we not done that stupid video. I mean, we could have made it for a lot cheaper than that. So, but I don't know, man. It's just as far as like experiences, you know, you just get in there and you try to get it done and get as much footage as you can, and then you get it to the editor and you start cutting it up. And so my favorite part of making a video is when it's done, when you get it back from the editor and watching it. You know, I mean, usually it's like, when is this going to be over? You know?
Yeah.
Especially if you're spending 8 hours like on,
it's never
that one, man. It's
never fun. You know, I mean, it's work, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this has been your career.
Yeah.
As music, yeah.
Okay, so I was out for a minute because we gotta love the internet, and it's like over 100 a day. But with this tour that's coming out, new album, it's been a little while. What do you look forward to the most, and what has been like the driving factor there? Like, I want to do this again, even after everything.
These new songs we're playing, Bulletproof and Can't Look Away, it's just been the Bulletproof especially just has a great feeling for you know, the crowd as far as their reaction to it. Just a really great feeling, and I haven't had that for a long time. So, all right, you know, not since like Headstrong, I think. You know, just when you just have feel like as soon as the first like intro hits, like people are like bobbing their head, like getting into it right away. And so I'm just really excited about that, and you know, you get to see how excited other people are, you know. So that's what I was looking forward to, and so we just getting clips of the song out. So I'm sure hopefully by August, you know, anybody going to the shows in August, you know, Trapt.com has all that information, but you know, they'll be able to hear some of that and see it at the show, you know.
Yeah. That's exciting, man. 3 tours lined up for this album release too. That's awesome.
Yeah, we like to do legs. Like, we don't want to do like, you know, 3 months in a row because that just gets crazy, you know. So we just cut it up, you know. Yeah. Cut it up, talk about it the next month, and do another tour, talk about it next month. Yeah. I mean,
now, do all the band members are they all just musicians, or do they actually have day jobs? Like,
no,
do they have to take time off or anything?
Everyone in the band is just does what they do. You know, like our guitar player plays his guitar, and it's just his, you know, it's just his band. This band's his only thing, and our drummer's the same thing, and then I mean, our bass player, you know, we could just not tour at all and just retire. Yeah.
That's just incredible.
Collect the ropes. Yeah.
So what do you love the most about this? Like, is it a personal thing for you? Like, do you like singing? Do you like writing? Or is it, you know, the experience that you have when you're on tour and hearing the stories of how your music is compelling, what is it for you specifically that makes you want to keep doing this?
Well, all of that stuff
Okay.
is great, but I mean, the coolest thing is to make a piece of art that you're proud of and then have it connect with people. As far as like, people are like, oh, we haven't hit a hit since Headstrong. It's like, well, we haven't had people spend millions of dollars on us since Headstrong. And we made 2 records with Warner Brothers, and then we went and did a 50-50 deal with a new label that, they had Buck Cherry's Crazy Bitch that they had just broken, and they had a new Drowning Pool song that they just signed Drowning Pool. And then, so we were like, oh yeah, well, let's do a 50-50 deal, and that was great. We just did 2 records with them. And then after that, we've been independent and just doing our own thing, since 2011. And so, it's just a, what I've had people try to make deals with me about things, but it's like, why give up your business for the money? You don't need to.
Right.
We already had the money spent behind it. So, to get to those numbers again, you have to give up, more. And these days they make you give up more than just whatever new album they're promoting. You got to pay them parts of your merch and your touring and all that stuff. So they're not. It doesn't make a sense for them to invest in it. And it's like, if you need all that, then there's no, like, we're good. It's like, do it ourselves. It's like, we don't need that extra support from you if it's going to cost us this, especially the expression.
Yeah, authenticity as well. Yeah.
Yep. So, what were you gonna say?
The easy choice.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you're in a position like that. Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
What's the craziest tour? I mean, have you spent months and months on end touring before?
We did the Crew Fest was like 8 weeks. That was 2008. So I don't think we've done an 8-week tour since then.
Yeah.
I think that's just crazy.
That's a long time.
I think it's 4 weeks now, maybe into 5 is like the most, at a time. But we try to keep it to 3 weeks. But the first 2 years, when we started on the road, November 2002, or maybe like January, February 2002 is when we really started. But we didn't stop touring for 2 years. So we did. Yeah, it was almost 2 years where it was like 1 week off. So we were just going, but that's when you're early 20s. It's it's all good. It's fine. You want to do that, but at this point, we just try to target 3 or 4 week tour, and then we try to take off, hang out with our families, and then do it again.
Yep. So that's awesome. I am excited for this new album release. I've been watching the videos as they come out, and then man, your music hasn't gotten worse. It's still just great, man. It's still,
I'm excited about Bulletproof, and we're recording. We're finishing up 3 songs over the next week and a half that are more like on the not as heavy side, but they're still great songs, and I can't wait to get those out too. But it's just it's got some really cool songs that I think people are going to really dig coming.
Yeah. We were kind of talking about when he jumped back on, social media, and I talked about how I felt about it. I don't love it, but it is a great way to be heard. And it's definitely been an issue for you as far as freedom of speech. But I mean, would you agree that it's been a huge help for you guys to get back into?
Like Facebook would hit millions of people, every few months with my posts about what I thought about different social things going on, and trolls would be pissed off, and some fans would be like, "Oh, I agree," and whatever. But it was a cool conference, a discourse and all that. And then, and then I got banned for just saying the Proud Boys aren't white supremacists, and because I know a few of them at this point, and they're not, they're not white. So, and then now just this year, even if you're Hispanic, you can be white supremacist. So and they just figured that this year in 2023. But back then they weren't saying that, so that's cool at least, right?
I think us as a nation, we've changed so much every decade. Like my grandmother,
it's the influencers, whoever the dictator
yeah,
picks to get the reach, because they are saying the things that the masters want them to say, so they get the reach. Boom. And
I just look
that's
at it
how
this way, like,
they change the
yeah, like
culture. They change it easy that way.
Yeah.
30s.
And
My grandma was
they've got the
14.
media.
What are you saying, Jesse?
I was just saying, like, my grandmother was 14 when she got married to my grandfather, and he was 19, right? But this is the 1930s, and in the South. And then, I was the only Caucasian, if that's the right word to say, by looks in a different community in the South. I was the only light-colored, light-skinned individual in that community, like the only one. And so I grew up in that culture, right, in Alabama. And just my stepdad, he was born in Alabama, and so he flew certain flags that most people wouldn't agree with, but because he served our country for 30 years, he does this proudly, and he's like, most people don't even know what this means. And so it was a consistent like history lesson all the time, like growing up on the East Coast and whatever. That was so interesting to me with Dread. So it's almost like, regardless of what we say now, that was the standard 50, 80 years ago. And just because now there are cameras on you everywhere, and when you have a voice or any sort of creative outlet where you allow yourself to be seen or heard, you are taking a risk. You are putting your reputation on the line, as well as your bandmates, or for me, any company that I work with. We get kickback from like the most ridiculous things. Some people are okay with it, some people aren't. That's fine. What I'm getting at with this is, with you utilizing social media as an artist now and how it's developed the way that it is the last 20 years, what has been the most successful like avenue for you?
The most successful thing is talking about the heated issues of our time.
So just hitting it right on the head. Like, was there a certain platform?
For example, it's just the Ukraine war. I was like, I was hitting like millions. I was hitting like over 10 million people a month. Over the 3 months after that war started.
Right.
Just kind of talking about what was really going on, and the media lying and twisting things, and also just trying to make fun of it a little bit too, and just not trying to be too serious. And I was also promoting that we were doing the 20th anniversary tour, so we were doing packed shows every night, and I would talk about things during the day that were whatever, and I would also talk about the shows, just whatever. Like, I thought you could express yourself in whatever you want. So it just like I was hitting millions of people, and then obviously it really started shadow banning me, like September of 2022, and then October, it was like kind of a little bit better than what I have now. And then I just talked about Paul Pelosi and the situation being weird, and I didn't even imply nothing, and they banned me. And it's like, what? So who's this guy? Why is he? Why can't you talk about him? I don't know. So
it's true though, because like you hear, like, I work with people who are from other countries, and all they watch is stuff from their country, and like what we hear and see on TV is not what's actually happening. Like, you go to these other countries and you see totally different views on the same subject. But from here, it's either edited or like fine-tuned to the way that they want it to be perceived, and it's either wrong or just completely diluted, and people just go with it. I mean, it's sad.
I just hope there's not more war, because they could just lie about how it's going, and that sucks. And we could be like on the verge of getting invaded, and they just won't tell us, or we just don't trust them at this point. So it sucks. I don't know what they're gonna do to like restore the trust of the people, but
they'll just redirect it and talk about UFOs and aliens and stuff.
So that's what Ignorance is Bliss is about, which we just dropped like late in May. It's like It is. Ignorance is bliss. So if you don't know about it, you don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to feel guilty about it. So people don't want to know about things. So I get it. I understand. It's like nobody wants to hear people bitch about things they can't do anything about.
Well, you have an
I mean,
idea. I have an idea for you though. Just throwing this out there. Just, do a music video of you playing a sold out show in Antarctica on the Antarctic wall.
Yeah, the frozen ice wall.
Yeah. And that, everybody that's missing or disappeared are there, and then it's really the moon, and just throw it all in a video for this and just throw it all together and just be like, yeah, we're doing a sold out show in Antarctica. Take it for what it is, but I'm like, I think that would be a really good parody.
So that show,
reach out to Seth MacFarlane and be like, hey, do you want to do something with, or the creators of Rick and Morty or something? I think that's the only way you can really get away with that stuff.
They get banned in like 30 seconds.
10 seconds.
It's like Elon Musk. It's like letting all these people back on back on his app, but not Trapt. It's like really a platinum rock band. Like, what did I say? The high five the 15-year-old who banged his.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I mean, like I said, how I say I had to do like backhand comedy. That's what that is. I mean, it's not like you were being serious.
There's already songs about it. There's Hot for Teacher and Stacy's Mom are funny songs, so you can't make a joke about it, but they can make the songs about it. It's like, get out of here.
Or Jesse's girl.
Jesse's girl, yeah.
They just went after me because I was political and I was pro-Trump, and that's it.
They just needed something, and they went with that.
They didn't want to talk about the Proud Boys, so they went with the 15-year-old, the joke. Yeah. Whatever.
I mean, the thing is it's so ridiculous is that it worked.
Well, the point
you got all that backlash.
Well, the whole point of the conversation was that women's sports are getting screwed by biological males. And I'm like. It's like women are not as strong as men. That's it, generally speaking. And it got to the point where it's like women can't rape men, generally speaking, as far as the real forced situations. Like they can't, it's statutory by statute. It's like where it's the other way around. A woman, a young small little boy has to worry about that force on them, and that's a whole different thing. And so that's that plays out in sports.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, flipping the script, right? Yeah.
So the dynamic in sports is the same dynamic in relations between male and female, of any age. It's like when the older male has got the most defenses and the most offenses. It's like
right.
So they have the most responsibility, to protect and or at least not hurt the opposite sex, or smaller men, whatever. But that was the idea of that thing, and they're like, oh, what about all these things in the news? And I'm like, whatever, Like, I mean, I just did the joke to trigger the people that were on the other side of the argument, and then
like you said though, that
viral tweet because everyone else was talking about it. It was stupid.
Yeah, and then it like caused heat with other celebrities and other.
Band. It's like what?
Yeah. Didn't it end up causing heat with other musicians and stuff too?
I mean, this, the music industry is very like echo chamber. Do what the managers and the top down say to do, and so there's bands that like would play with us. They did the Make America Rock Again 2016, 2017, and now they're like, we can't tour with you guys because and it's like whatever. It's like they don't do anything on their own. Right. So, but this next summer we're gonna have Josie Scott, who's the original singer from Saliva. He's talking about wanting to do a tour. So, hopefully we'll get him and a few other, national acts and make a great tour next summer. Talking to a few people.
That's what I'm gonna ask next is who without you leaking anything, but like who would you want to go on tour with or to tour with you?
I mean, I think doing Make America Rock again would be cool. So hopefully we can do something like that and get all those bands. That's all I care about, man. Just put them all together. Puddle of Mud was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this industry, they just don't want to build up anybody who's pushed back against the narrative, the media narrative that has to be carefully tailored and has to be secretly veiled, so that nobody really sees it for what it is.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
if you get
saw
away
like
with that,
that video you posted on TikTok where you replied to that guy, and then even Vex came on there and was talking about that comment from that one guy. And you mentioned about him trying to get on doing a show with you guys.
He like was cool after he ripped us, and then I was like, all right, let's be cool, whatever. And he's like, you think we could open up? I was like, all right, well, I'll ask, and they didn't. They said no, and then we're like, well, we're doing this show the next day if you want to do that one. And then like something fell through with that, whatever. But we, I was trying to be cool, and then he got into it with my girl, like he called her a bitch. So
what the hell?
2 years ago, cool. Yeah. So he's just a head case, So the whole point I'm talking about, and I don't know why people can't see this. It's my problem with TikTok. It's not. I don't care about any of the 1 million+ influencers sending their followers to my page and making a tougher time for my fans. So I don't care about that. I care about the big tech company putting #Trapt next to Ashley Tisdale's version. She has a song called Headstrong. It's not the same as my version, or Trapt has version Headstrong, but it's called Headstrong. She probably was like, "We're headstrong." I don't know how it goes, but they put #Trapt on that on purpose. They are trolling me. The big tech company, who's the biggest big tech company in the world, or app, at least for social media wise, it makes probably more money than Facebook now. They're trolling me by doing that. So #Trapt doesn't work for Trapt. It works for Ashley Tisdale and her version of Headstrong. So, and they've had that for like 2 years now almost. So,
flip the script. Yeah.
Yep.
Go. You should just like dress up, ask her to do a music video.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Funny, like nobody cares too. Everyone's like, well, if you sit and talk like that, then these big tech companies are allowed to troll you. It's like, nah, they're not.
It doesn't matter what you say,
do the same thing at the same time,
No, and if you talk back, then it's not okay. So that we'll remove you for talking about it.
Yeah, well, whatever. We're just doing music, man, and I'm just gonna express myself lyrically, and not. I mean, you won't see me doing posts about Ukraine or if we attack Taiwan. I won't say nothing. I know I'll want to. I'll be like, oh man, this is horrible, and people are gonna die, and our boys are gonna die, and it's gonna be real bad, and no one's gonna care. Because if they do, they'll get canceled, or they're going to get lower reach with the big tech companies and stuff because they're running the show.
It's almost like stay in your own lane. If you're doing music, do music. Is that what? Yeah, it's kind of what's happening.
That is that's what big tech wants, and that they get what they want because they can just shut you down.
Well, especially if it's like this has been your career, and the fact that it's affecting you for speaking.
There's no more rebels. So, I think they're mostly mad that it worked so well. That's what they're pissed about. That it brings in so much attention, and like music starts going up. TikTok, I don't know, but like Facebook, it was like the music wasn't really going up, and then we got banned, and then starting January of 2021, that's when things just started heating up, like had not done for the last few years. Like we dropped the song "Fire" from our it was the latest it wasn't on the digital version that we dropped in 2020 of Shadow Work, but we did a deluxe version of that song "Fire." As soon as that January 2021 hit, it was like, every platform went up big time, and it wasn't just Spotify. It was like Spotify went from 1.8 million to like 2.4 million, and then like YouTube went from like 1 million to like 1.6 million, and then Apple went from like 500,000 to 1 million, or percentage wise went the highest up, and then that happened across like Amazon and everywhere else too. So it was like just way more listeners, and I have to assume that they just read about the stuff I stood up for. And then 2021, I got on TikTok middle of the June of 2021, right? And within 2 months, we were at 60,000 followers, and by the end of the year, I don't know, we were probably close to 100,000. And then 2022, I just started talking about whatever and showing stuff about the 20th anniversary tour and promoting the 20th anniversary tour, and it just did great. I mean, we had nowhere near the level of support from promoters and Live Nation, or the radio stations and all that shit. And we still did really well. We still, if you have dozens of packed shows that you've recorded that you can put all over TikTok, it's like we're still trying to promote new music, but we have so much good footage that that we can repost, that we will. But we have other stuff we're doing now, but it's cool to have all that. It's like you can't. They're like, you play for 6 people, we play for 40 people. It's like they have 2 Monday nights that were less than 100. One show was like 90, and then one was like 48. But the one that was 48 we booked like a week before. We just couldn't get the promotion out there. But it was 2 Monday nights, and like I said, one booked a week before, and that's all they got as far as the show stuff. There's dozens of great shows, packed shows all around this country. So it's like. The big tech companies, they don't and it's like the music business, the media, big tech companies, they're all in the same bed. They're all pushing the same anybody pushing the same narrative, and if I go against it, then they're all going to come out, they're all going to make life hard for me. And that's what they've done with Trapt. So, and they're not legally allowed to do that, but like, am I gonna, like, I'm not gonna find a lawyer who wants to take that on, because they can make that last for 6 years and then bleed that lawyer dry. It's like, they're too powerful. Can't do shit. So they win, and that's fine. And it's like, I know my place in this world. I'm not stupid enough to be like, well, I can keep taking you on. I'm headstrong. I just have to try. I have to try a different way. I can't go through these people or over them. I just got to try to go around them.
Yeah. Well, social media is the control now. It's stupid to say, but everybody stares at their screens anymore.
Hopefully, you can keep making songs and not worrying what the lyrical content is going to get you banned or get you taken off Spotify or any of that. Hopefully, that stays cool. Who knows, right?
Yeah. As long as the songs are making them money, I just want to say, like, this is compelling in itself for any artist, right? So everything that happened to you is because you decided to use your voice. It's not like you actually went and committed some crazy thing that other musicians haven't even been accused of. You're still going.
Was getting banned from Facebook at 600,000, and then TikTok at 300,000, and then 2 more accounts when I got to like 15,000, and now I'm at my 3rd or 4th account on TikTok, and we're at 17,000. So hopefully I don't get this one banned, and I'll be very careful not to say even I think that you look like a loser coming to my profile to troll me. That's a comment.
Yeah.
That's what got Trapt songs banned. That comment. Okay, I can't. The envelope has been pushed as far as I can push it. And so
don't play the game.
Other people could say whatever they want about me. That's fine. But whatever. It's a character.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look up Trapt right now on TikTok, it's just a bunch of stupid shit about people complaining.
Yeah, just ripping me, and they don't even have really anything to say.
No, they have nothing to do with it.
There's no racist comments. There's no misogynist comments. There's no homophobic comments.
But they're using it to kind of get their own views.
But I just said there's they don't have anything that they just say he's a bad guy or he's a jerk. Or, they don't even know what they're saying. But he said that it's all good to have statutory rape or that going on. And
it's just
when I hear about
it's because they read the comment the way they wanted to read it.
First of all, they say the 15-year-old who was anything like me and like an older female teacher that's pedophilia, and it's like, no, the little boy and the freaking old adult man. That's what I think about when I hear that. It's like statutory rape, yeah, sure, and fire the teacher and all that, but she's nowhere near the evil that some sick, pedo pervert guy with a little boy. There's nowhere near in the evilness of that female teacher and then that guy. The female teacher with the 15-year-old who would be like anything that like I was at that age. I was like putting up 2 plates
Yeah.
You know, I was strong. I was a strong kid. You know, it was so. You know, I could defend.
So you're saying
myself.
like from a maturity level of that kid, he knew what was going on, kind of a thing.
It's not maturity level. It's just the strength that you have to defend yourself against unwanted advances.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once the male goes through puberty, he has that, and the woman doesn't have that, and the little boy doesn't have that, and that's what makes one thing worse than another is the defenses you have.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
I mean, it would be great for all 15, 16-year-olds to have the mental defenses against, you know, a woman that shouldn't be hitting on him. But, you know, at least he's got the physical defenses where he can get away from me, honey.
Yeah, right.
He can do that, you know. But the other categories of minors cannot, you know, like young boys and women really in general. It's like they're always at risk maybe for some. You know, some guy doing something, you know, assaulting or forcing, you know, that kind of thing. So, like, yeah, that was the whole point of that thing. And that's why men can't be playing sports with women and expect the women to ever get a shot at winning. You know, they're stronger. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying, man. So you say you're just gonna focus on the music and watch how you're talking because you don't want to be blocked again, right? I mean, that's like, you're still voicing yourself in your music, and I think that it still needs to be heard. You know, it's your views on things. You know.
Yeah, and I'll defend myself if someone's coming on their line about me or some influencer is saying something that's not true. I'll say that's not true. Yeah. Or I'll comment or something and be like, well, that's a lie. So, but I just can't be like snarky about it, which I love to be. You know, I can't. I just
You
can't
can't
even
be
be like,
yourself.
hey, you know what? You look like a loser. You look, you know, you're a fraud. I can't even do that.
Yeah.
I have to just be like, well, that's not true, and you know, bless your heart.
I had the fortunate occurrence of a smear campaign myself, so I get it. Like the most ridiculous things I didn't even know that was happening, and I just made a counter parody. No, this was like other stuff that happened. It was like I made a friend on TikTok. I went on vacation. I broke my leg. The people that I was with, it was like a video phone call that I was on with this friend from TikTok that was across the US. She overheard the conversation and was just like, oh, how dare these people talk to you this way? Like, you know, just forget them, leave them there. I'll fly out and drive you home, because we drove my car a state away. Sure. And I'm messed up. I just broke my knee, you know, no pain meds, just like in shock. I call my mom and I'm like, I don't know what to do. My mom's like, well, you don't owe anybody anything. And if they drove down with you and this is what happened, then, you know, I understand. If not, like, your sister will drive down to get you, whatever you want to do. And so I allowed this girl to fly in halfway into Vegas. And the two people that were with me, all of my stuff was at their friend's house in Henderson, right outside of Las Vegas. And I'm in the back seat of my car driving there, whatever. So in the middle of the night, like, with a broken knee, I tried to take all of their stuff out of my car, but there was some stuff strapped to the top of my car. And I left at 11:30 at night and went and picked her up from the airport, and she drove me home. Well, like 2 weeks later, her and I just told her I didn't want to be friends with her anymore because I didn't like the way conversation was going. And then 2 days after that, she went on TikTok and just blasted me for all this, that I need to pay her back $1,300 for the plane ticket, because I never asked her to come. I never said I could pay her back.
And $1,300 for like a round trip,
a last minute flight to
for the round trip there in
Florida to Vegas. Yeah, and so
just one way.
It was one way, and I don't even know what was true or what not, but I had like 50,000 views on a video that I made like the day prior, and everyone's like, you need to pay your friend back. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Had no idea about these videos, right? I'm like a day before I'm going in for surgery.
Right.
And so I made a parody video in response to that. And I'm like, thanks for joining our social experiment to see if a negative thing could blow up my views, and it did. I had over 1 million views on all of my stuff, and I'm like, this girl can call me and be like, yo, hey, can you help me out with this? I'm in a situation. It wasn't like that. She went straight to TikTok.
That's crazy.
Her channel blew up. It did get banned, and everybody in that whole thing, like all their stuff got banned. But yeah, it was
get
bad.
banned for? Just like for
slander, all of this stuff. Yeah, because it wasn't just me. She created like a whole ring of people and people from my past, ex-girlfriends.
Those people are absolutely crazy, dude. Like I got like a half dozen of big influencers with that crazy mindset coming after me, man. That Dinesh guy, he's quiet now because someone's suing him. So I'm not someone who gloats, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like people send me their messages like, oh, you see what's happening? I'm like, well, you know, karma's a bitch, you know, and it is what it is, right? And it's like I don't care. I just want to be treated fairly by TikTok.
Yeah,
I don't even care, and I do want to be able to express myself and say, hey, man, you coming here makes you the loser. You know, like I should be able to say that's a valid opinion. You know that if you're gonna control me, like you're a loser. You know, like you're the one who's got some issues and stuff. Like you're a fraud if you're gonna lie about me. It's like, come on, really? Those are things, statements that I should be able to make, publicly, and I can't. Whatever, it is what it is. But I think it makes me more, more patience with a lot of things. So it's
thick skin, patience, it's cognizant.
From 2020 to now, 3 years later, I've definitely grown. There's no doubt. You can either get mad and cry and stomp your feet, or you can just try different ways, of dealing with these things.
So, and now that we're hitting an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, and I want to kind of wrap it up, but talk about this new album coming out, tours, and obviously you're pumped about it. All this stuff sucks and it's going on. I mean, it's kind of mellowed out a little bit, hasn't it? As far as
yeah, come on, 2020 was crazy. Even all of the 2020, 21 on TikTok is nowhere near the craziness of TikTok and Instagram when I was, when the George Floyd stuff was happening, and I was making fun of people about certain things and how gung-ho everyone gets when the media says this is what we need to all get angry about, and everyone needs to care about this, and I'm like, no one's gonna care in like 2 months or 6 months.
It's true. It's a phase, man,
and they don't care. So it's just like what's the next thing going to be that galvanizes the whole country to hate something, or to hate certain people or whatever. It's just, it is what it is. But it was crazy, and then I get into it with different people on TikTok, and it was fine. And then like I said, that Paul Pelosi thing, and then jumping back on with 2 more accounts, and then after this last ban, they let me jump back on the account they banned before that, which is weird, and there was like advertising money still in there. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll use this. And back we're more followers than we had when they banned the other one. But I mean, I get it now. Like I can't even do that. I think you're a loser kind of thing. But it's I'm the only one who has these rules set on me. But
it hasn't stopped you. You're still you're still going on tour. You're still dropping new music. Yeah,
it won't. And I want that to be an inspiration, if that can be an inspiration to people that might be like, oh, I want to do, I can't do anything about this. It sucks, whatever. But whatever, just keep moving, keep going, keep doing what you do, and that's fighting back right there.
Yep. Yeah, man. Is there any links besides trapt.com that I can add into the description of the show, or
just TRAPT. We don't spell it the normal way. TRAPT.com, and that really has new music. It's got tour dates. It's got VIP stuff you can get, merch,
links for tickets and all that stuff.
Yeah, tickets, VIP, merch, new music. As there's gonna be songs coming every month, so make sure you go check back on stuff if you haven't checked it for a little bit. And we have links to all our socials up there. So other than Twitter.
Whatever.
Twitter. Twitter's for the news cycle.
We got Threads now.
Yeah, now we have Threads, Instagram Threads.
so many different avenues now. Yeah.
Somebody's like, I don't think Threads is going to do well because the clientele comes from Instagram, and all they care about is cats, food, and butts.
I mean, that might be your algorithm.
Right.
Well, that says a lot about you. I'm just
yeah. Well, that's what they say. Like, those are the 3 top topics on Instagram. Cats, butts, and what did I say? What's the other one?
Cats, butts, and
food.
Yeah, take pictures. Yeah, it's like
pictures of your food and your vacation.
Show me was when you were 21 and
dogs and puppies and cats. Yeah, those are the top 5.
I do want to show my appreciation to everybody that's been live in the chats today. We've had quite a few viewers,
cool.
And I imagine it'll only get bigger, especially as I'm posting clips and stuff from the show.
Yeah, check it out right now. Cool.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. And if anything, I feel like I made another friend. I'd love to stay in touch with you. I'm sure. And actually, Jesse.
Yeah, anytime we're coming to play around you guys, man, just come hang out on the bus and talk.
Yeah, of course, man.
Have a few beers or whatever, man. That'd be cool.
I actually want to help bring you here.
Do it.
That came up the other day, and that's something I can do because that's what I do here in Utah.
Where'd you say you were at again?
Right outside of Salt Lake City in Utah.
Oh yeah. So
I
said that date of that Thursday would be great.
And I've already reached out to 2 of the local promoters and with whatever. But yeah, let's chat about that, and I'll see.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I'll make sure we get you in the right place, and I think that'd be really cool. I'd love to see you live. Yeah. I've never seen you play live. I didn't even start going to I went to like a few before I was 18, and then it was like dry for 10 years. So,
well, let's rock, man. Just getting it
I
going.
would love to.
We're gonna have a great couple of years. We have really cool new songs, and I think we're gonna get people real excited. I mean, our 20th anniversary tour was awesome. So I'm just really excited about this one too.
So just roll into the back of the bus with my camera gear. Got it.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's do it.
All right, and until next time, everybody, we'll see you around. All right.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.